That you stand for the pledge of allegiance of the American flag and remain standing by invocation given tonight by Councilor Bowles. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I come to you tonight to ask for your humble guidance, for your wisdom. Thank you very much for this body that you've put before us. I really feel like you have your hand on this city. Thank you for everything you've done for our city, the way you've turned things around. Thank you for our employees and for our citizens, Lord. I pray that you'd be with us tonight. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Madam Clerk, we call the roll, please.
Councillor Striplin. Here. Councillor Wood.
Here.
Councillor Brown. Here. Councillor Starnes.
Here.
Councillor Chambliss.
Here.
Councillor Bowles.
Here.
Councillor Boone.
Here.
Call this meeting to order. Character trait of the money is patience, accepting a difficult situation without giving a deadline to remove it. At this time, we have approval of the minutes. City Council work session, September 12, 2013. Public hearing and City Council meeting, September 17, 2013. We have a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor of approving those minutes signify by raising your right hand. And those minutes are approved. At this time, we have comments from persons present regarding tonight's agenda. Anyone that would like to speak on any item on tonight's agenda, please come forward. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Dr. Jerry Simmons, 141 North Chestnut Street. Thanks. In reviewing the agenda, there was one item, the ordinance number 10, that I think you might want to make some amendments to, unless you want to be calling special meetings. Here's why. Right now, and having been chairperson of the committee that did the Christmas parade for many years, most of the folks are fantastic dealing with, but I can tell you that some folks and some groups are going to try the patience of the Leisure or Parks and Rec committee to no end with their requests. And the way it works right now on your ordinance is they need to submit an application 30 days before their event, and then Chief Thompson has 5 days to respond back, and then they can appeal. Chief Thompson obviously mails it. That takes a couple of days. They then have 2 days to appeal. And then after the appeal goes to you, the city council, and you only have 2 days to rule on it, which means, and I just did a couple of quick iterations, I picked a few months with your meetings, which means you'd be calling a special meeting for no other reason perhaps than to decide on their appeal to you. So my recommendation would be take that 30 days, it's mentioned about 3 times in the ordinance. If you extended it to 35, you'd at least avoid having the conflict. You might even want to go 45. Here's why. If you go 35, sometimes your decision on the appeal will only occur within a few days of the event, which might be unfair to the event holders, not knowing, am I a go or not a go? If you made it 45 days, you really would preclude you having to hold a special meeting just to decide on somebody's appeal. And trust me, they're going to appeal because there's no reason in your ordinance why. There's no cost or consequences if they wanted to appeal. So those are just some suggestions. And I guess since it doesn't start till January, you could even table it and work out the numbers at a subsequent meeting. Just some suggestions, unless you wanted to meet on another date. Any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Simmons. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Dr. Simmons? Does anyone else would like to come forward at this time? Mayor, do you have a report?
Yes, sir.
And thank you. 2 weeks ago, this body passed the City of Prattville budget, and I just want to say thank you for that. And as we all know by now, our federal government was not able to come to an agreement last night, and because they were not able to continue on with our federal government. But if you can, please continue to keep all levels of government officials, and employees in your prayers. Certain federal agencies will not be operating or will be operating at a reduced level. With all this in mind, I do recommend that council move forward on agenda items 3 and 4. Council does approve some or all of the new hires on tonight's agenda. I want our partners at Prattville to know that this administration will be working very closely with council, just as we have over the past 11 months, moving forward in a very conservative but proactive manner. That was sort of the sad or a low note of opening the meeting, I guess you can say. But I guess it bounced back to a highlight. I just came from the opening of our Talcott County Fair. It's here till Saturday, and I hope that all can find time to visit this annual event, which is traditional and a part of Americana. Item 9 on tonight's agenda is basically a management tool. It's giving this council body the flexibility to make annual holiday designations for this mechanized, technology-based, service-oriented organizations. If you please move forward on this tonight so our community will know that the Friday after Thanksgiving will be a city-observed holiday this year. Item 10 amends the code section covering special events that Dr. Simmons just talked about, such as fun run, parades and fun runs. This is also another management tool that will allow us to help recoup costs of our now traditionally and universally accepted forms of fundraisers. Friday, October the 4th is Military Appreciation Night at Stanley Jensen Stadium, and I hope that all can be there. And then while I'm speaking of the stadium, that's a perfect segue into the name change for Parks and Recs. Hope that this body will support agenda item number 11. It changes the name, and what it seems is the traditional and universally known title for these quality of life programs. The month of October is also being proclaimed Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Prematurity Awareness Month, and Rett Syndrome Awareness Month. The City of Prattville was featured in this in the October edition of the Alabama League of Municipalities Journal magazine because of our social media programs. So if you have time, have a chance, how about pick up a copy of that and see how Prattville is viewed throughout the state. So we all know now the pretty much the summer is over. Our splash pad season is over. I just wanted to share what I think has been a very true success for our community. The summer of 2012 was a very long and productive summer, I think, for all of us. I'm certain everybody's aware of the $100,000 by now that was awarded to us. But I want to thank the Parks and Recs Department, the Wastewater Department, and all of the staff who had a hand in making this new attraction all it could be for our citizens. I don't know if you guys have had time because the various districts spread out all over Prattville, but the splash pad has been utilized quite a bit and has been a big hit for this whole community. On the agenda, you also note that item 12 is the Elmore County Solid Waste Management Plan. This is traditionally known as a housekeeping item. All counties are required to file a plan every 10 years. Elmore County's is up for renewal now. As we all know, City of Prattville encompasses both Autauga County and Elmore County. Autauga County will be presenting something to us next year. So please move forward with that item so they can mark this off of their and our to-do list. Friday, October 4th is National Visit a Park Day. This falls in line with my health and wellness initiative. Hope that all of us will participate in visiting one of our great parks facilities in honor of this occasion. Due to bad weather last week, our Worldwide Day of Play has been rescheduled for October the 12th at Cooters Pond. And any additional information you need on any of those activities, please check our city website. But Mr. President, that report, I'm here for any questions.
Thank you, Mayor. Does anyone have any questions or comments for the Mayor? I just have one statement, Mayor, and maybe you've already taken care of this. Based on the conversation that Dr. Simmons just gave us, has the police department or you and your administration made sure that everybody's on board along with the leisure services or Parks and Recreation Department before we move forward with this ordinance on number 10?
We have had actually tasked Meredith Dismukes from my office of pulling a committee together, a users committee, I guess you might say, that along with Laura Lee and the Leisure Services Committee, and we had the vast majority of high-profile users for this type of events. Now, there might be some single, not your most common ones that were not available, but anyway, vast majority of people, the entities there were in support of it and understood the process. And matter of fact, over the last couple of years, some of them have actually been trying to pay us for some of these services, but we never had it built into the mechanism to accept that. But all entities that I have talked with, Dr. Simmons did make some valid points there. I mean, there might be a time, but honestly, I really don't know that we're going to have a lot of appeals coming before the council. But a few years ago, I never thought we'd have so many fun runs as we do now. I mean, for a while there, it seemed like the big fundraisers for the different communities were golf tournaments, and then all of a sudden, you had a few of these 5Ks, 1Ks, half marathons, and it has really, really exploded now.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
At this time, we have a report from Council and Special Committees. Councilor Striplin.
Yes, sir. Very briefly, the Sanitation Committee met last week to review a bid proposal package. We hope to have the bids received prior to our next council meeting. Also, as just previously mentioned, the committee reviewed the Elmore County Solid Waste Disposal Plan, and after Mr. McDowell explained the process to us, we concurred with their plan, and the committee recommends the council approve this plan before us tonight as resolution number 12. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Brown.
Yes, sir. The Street Committee met September 24th to continue our discussion on a traffic calming policy. We are closer to a recommendation. Robbie's tweaking that, and you should be hearing something from us with that shortly. Thank you.
Councilor Starnes.
No, sir.
Councilor Chambliss.
No, sir.
Councilor Bowe.
Yes, sir. We had an IT meeting yesterday, and about a new hire. I believe we're going to send out an email tomorrow to the council and asking for approval of that and move forward with that position. So I will send y'all an email out tomorrow. Thank you.
Councilor Bowe.
Yes, sir. Leisure Services and Urban Management Committees met last week, and we are recommending the new hires, which are on the agenda after much thought process and after some paring down of recommended numbers. We do feel like these are absolutely necessary positions to fill. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move into our agenda. Item number 1 is a resolution to declare various weeded lots to be a public nuisance and ordering their abatement per Title 11, Chapter 67 of the Code of Alabama, 1975, as amended. Councilor Chambliss, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas an abundance of overgrown grass or weeds is injurious to the public health, safety, and general welfare, by providing a breeding ground and shelter for rats, mice, snakes, and mosquitoes and other vermin, and may cause the further spread of weeds, may hide debris such as glass or metal that could inflict injury on a person going to such property, and may also pose a fire hazard and respiratory hazard. And whereas the City Council of the City of Prattville declared in Resolution Book 2013, page 134, that the abundance of overgrown grass and weeds at various addresses in the City of Prattville constituted a public nuisance, and set a public hearing to discuss said nuisances. And whereas notice as required by Section 1167-62 of the Code of Alabama, 1975, as amended, was provided in the Prattville Progress by certified mail and by signage on the subject property. And whereas the Prattville Police Department has inspected the properties listed in Resolution Book 2013, page 134, adopted on September 3rd, 2013, and determined that the public nuisance still exists. And whereas the City Council of the City of Prattville held the required public hearing at 6:00 p.m. on October 1st, 2013, permitting the owners of same properties listed in Resolution Book 2013, page 134, to present evidence, objections, and protests regarding the proposed removal of weeds. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Prattville declares that the abundance of overgrown grass and weeds on the properties continue to be a public nuisance. Vacant lot on Jasmine Trail, vacant lot on Poplar Street, 932 Running Brook Drive, 225 Nichols Street, 1812 Jenny Drive, 106 West Bonanza Court. Be it further resolved that the mayor shall have the overgrown grass and weeds on the property listed above cut or removed using city forces or the private contractors listed in attachment A. Any property owner shall have the right to have any weeds removed at his or her expense, provided the removal is done prior to the commencement of work by employees or agents of the City of Prattville. The mayor shall keep an accounting of all costs related to the removal of overgrown grass and weeds and report such costs to the City Council following their removal. So moved, Mr. President.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilor Chambers. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Stearns. Be any discussion on this item? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. And this item is adopted. Resolution number 2 is to authorize the mayor to sign any contracts for services for community initiatives and city county services as specified in the FY 2013-2014 budget. Councilor Stearns, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas community initiatives and city council services are annually budgeted by the City of Prattville, and whereas these community initiatives and city council services serve the public good and are necessary for the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Prattville, and whereas contracts for service are needed to support allocation of these funds, now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that the mayor is hereby authorized to sign any contracts for services for community initiatives and city county services as specified in the fiscal year 2013-2014 budget. So moved, Mr. President.
I have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Councilor Strickland. Any discussion on this item? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. And this item is adopted. Resolution number 3 is to authorize the hiring of 5 service maintenance worker 1 employees to fill previously non-filled or newly budgeted positions in the Urban Management Department at an annual cost not to exceed $158,295 for salaries and benefits. Councilor Boone, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Prattville Urban Management Department has a need to hire 5 Service Maintenance Worker 1 employees, and whereas the City Council has adopted a resolution requiring council authorization to fill previously non-filled or newly budgeted positions, and whereas the annual cost of such employees will not exceed $158,295 for salaries and benefits, and whereas these are budgeted positions in the Urban Management Department, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that up to $158,295 is hereby authorized to be expended for the purpose of hiring 5 Service Maintenance Worker 1 employees, and said funds are hereby approved and appropriated from FY 2014 budget line items Urban Management Department, salaries and wages, workers' compensation, retirement, group health insurance, group life insurance, and FICA. Be it further resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that the Human Resources Department is authorized to implement the hiring process as budgeted. So move, Mr. President.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Councilor Brown. Will be any discussion on this item? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. And this item is adopted. Item number 4 is a resolution to authorize the hiring of 1 service maintenance worker 1 to fill a previous non-filled or newly budgeted position in the Leisure Services Department at an annual cost not to exceed $31,659 for salary and benefits. Councilor Stearns, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Prattville Leisure Service Department has a need to hire 1 Service Maintenance Worker 1, and whereas the City Council has adopted a resolution requiring council authorization to fill previously non-filled or newly budgeted positions, and whereas the annual cost of such employee will not exceed $31,659 for salary and benefits, and whereas this budgeted position in the Leisure Service Department now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that up to $31,659 is hereby authorized to be expended for the purpose of hiring one service maintenance worker one, and said funds are hereby approved and appropriated from fiscal year 2014 budget line items, Leisure Service Department, salaries and wages, workers' compensation, retirement, group health insurance, group life insurance, and FICA. Be further resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that the Human Resource Department is authorized to implement the hiring process as budgeted. So moved, Mr. President.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilor Stearns. We have a second. Second by Councilor Brown. Will be any discussion on this item? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. And this item passes. Item number 5 is an ordinance to surplus 2 vehicles from the Engineering Department. Councilor Brown, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Prattville, Alabama as follows, that the vehicles listed below are hereby declared surplus of the Engineering Department and are to be removed from the inventory of said department. 1990 International 4600 4x2, 2001 International 4700. Be it further ordained that the City Council instructs the mayor to sell said vehicles on govdeals.com and that proceeds be deposited into the general fund. Mr. President, I so move.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. This is an ordinance of permanent nature. Items will need to be suspended. We have a motion to suspend the rules.
Motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. We have a second by Councilor Chambers. All in favor of suspending the rules signify by raising your right hand. And the rules have now been suspended. Any discussion on this item? All in favor of adoption signify by raising your right hand. And this ordinance is adopted. Item number 6 is an ordinance also to surplus various equipment from the wastewater department. Councilor Strickland, please.
Yes, sir. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Prattville, Alabama as follows, that the equipment listed below is hereby declared surplus of the wastewater department and is to be removed from the inventory of said department. Exmark Zero Turn Mower Model LZ27DD24, Exmark Zero Turn Mower Model LZ27DD24, Excel 3400 Mower Model 925362, New Holland Square Hay Baler Model 273. Be it further ordained by that the City Council instructs the mayor to sell equipment on govdeals.com and that the proceeds be deposited into the Wastewater Enterprise Fund. So moved, Mr. President.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? Second by Councilor Chambers. This is an ordinance also. The rules must be suspended on it. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
A motion by Councilor Stearns. We have a second. Second by Councilor Bowles. All in favor of suspending the rules signify by raising your right hand. The rules have been suspended unanimously. Have any discussion on this ordinance? All in favor of adoption of this ordinance signify by raising your right hand. And this ordinance is adopted. Item number 8 is an ordinance also to surplus 1 vehicle from Leisure Services Department. Councilor Boone. Did I skip one? Pardon me. Let us go back. Item number 7. Surplus 1 vehicle from the Fire Department. Councilor Bowles.
Yes, sir. Be ordained by the City Council of the City of Prattville, Alabama as follows, that the vehicle listed below is hereby declared surplus of the Fire Department and is to be removed from the inventory of said department. 1975 Warren L. France Pumper. That is one old truck. VIN 801270. Be it further ordained that the City Council instructs the mayor to sell said vehicles on govdeal.com and that the proceeds be deposited into the general fund. I so move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Councilor Chambers. This item must be suspended. Rules must be suspended. Do we have a motion? We have a motion by Councilor Strickland. Do we have a second? Second by Councilor Stearns. All in favor of suspending the rules signify by raising your right hand. Rules have been suspended. Will be any discussion on this item? Councilor Boone.
We have been in discussion about having a special fund for these monies. How is that coming? Is it up? So this money will go into that fund? Okay, thank you.
Be any further discussion on this item? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. And this ordinance is adopted. Item number 8 is an ordinance to surplus 1 vehicle from Leisure Services Department. Councilor Boone.
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Prattville, Alabama as follows, that the vehicle listed below is hereby declared surplus of the Leisure Services Department and is to be removed from the inventory of said department. 1994 GMC truck. Be it further ordained that the City Council instructs the mayor to sell said vehicle on govdeals.com and that proceeds are to be deposited into the general fund. So moved, Mr. President.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? Second. Second by Councilor Bowles. Rules need to be suspended also on this item. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion to suspend. Do we have a second? Second by Councilor Chambers. All in favor signify by raising your right hand. Rules have been suspended. Will there be any discussion on this item? All in favor signify by raising your right hand. And this ordinance is adopted. Ordinance number 9 is to amend Chapter 9, Section 9.2.3.2 of the City of Prattville Personnel Policies and Guidelines to name legal holidays for the City of Prattville. Councilor Brown, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Prattville that Chapter 9, Section 9.3.2 of the City of Prattville Personnel Policies and Guidelines shall be amended as follows. Holidays. The Human Resources Department shall post a list of council-approved holidays at the beginning of each fiscal year. All full-time employees are eligible for holiday pay. Holidays that fall on Saturday shall be observed on Friday, and those that fall on Sunday shall be observed on Monday. Holiday pay. If an eligible employee is required to work on a city-scheduled holiday, the employee shall be paid for the hours worked. All employees who do not work on the holiday shall be paid holiday pay at their regular daily rate of pay. Holiday pay hours shall be the same as the regularly scheduled work shift. Holiday pay shall not count as hours worked when determining overtime pay or compensation time in lieu of overtime pay. To be eligible for holiday pay, an employee must be present at work or on approved leave for the workday immediately preceding and following the paid holiday. Holiday pay shall not be paid to any employee in a non-pay status. Any employee who is on approved sick or vacation leave during a holiday shall be charged with holiday pay and shall not be charged for sick or vacation leave. Be it further ordained that the following legal holidays shall be designated for the City of Prattville: Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, Friday following Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day, New Year's Day, Martin Luther King Jr./Robert E. Lee's birthday, President's Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, one floating holiday at the employee's supervisor's discretion and with prior approval. This change shall become effective upon its passage and execution as provided by law. Mr. President, I so move.
We have a motion on the floor to accept this ordinance. We have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Boone. This item also will need the rules to be suspended in order to be considered tonight. We have a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Striplin. We have a second. Second by Councilor Boone. All in favor of suspending the rules, signify by raising your right hand. Rules have been suspended. There be any discussion on this item? Councilor Bowles.
How many paid holidays, I just want it on record, how many paid holidays are there presently before we do this?
11.
11 that we're approving, so there's no more holiday pays than we already have.
Correct. Basically, what this is doing is taking Columbus Day off the books and making it Friday after Thanksgiving. And then at the council discretion, for an example, President's Day can be observed this year. Next year, it might not be, just depending on how Christmas falls or however the council deems.
Yes, sir, I knew that. I just wanted it on videotape for anybody watching. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this item? All in favor of adopting this item, signify by raising your right hand. And this item is adopted. Item number 10 is an ordinance to amend City Code Chapter 54, Article 13, Parades. Councilor Boone.
Be it ordained that the City of Prattville Code, Chapter 54, Article 3, Parades, is hereby amended as follows. Article 3, Special Events, Division 1, Generally, Section 54 to 67, Definitions. The following words, terms, and phrases, when used in this article, shall have the meanings ascribed to them in this section, except where the content clearly indicates a different meaning. Special event shall mean any parade, run, race, block party, fundraising roadblock, festival roadblock, march, or procession upon any street. Section 54 to 68, public conduct during special event. Interference. It shall be unlawful for any person to unreasonably hamper, obstruct, impede, or interfere with any person, vehicle, or animal participating in a special event. Driving through special event. It shall be unlawful for any person to drive a vehicle between the vehicles or persons comprising a special event when such vehicles or persons are in motion and are conspicuously designated as a special event. 3. Parking on a special event route. The Chief of Police shall have the authority, when reasonably necessary, to prohibit or restrict the parking of vehicles along a highway or part thereof, constituting a part of the route of a special event. The Chief of Police shall post signs to such effect, and it shall be unlawful for any person to park or leave unattended any vehicle in violation thereof. No person shall be liable for parking on a street unposted in violation of this section. Division 2, permit. Section 54 to 95, required exceptions. It shall be unlawful for any person to engage in, participate in, aid, form, or start any special event unless a special event permit has been obtained from the Chief of Police with the following exceptions. 1. Funeral processions. 2. Student going to and from school classes or participating in educational activities, providing such conduct is under the immediate direction and supervision of the proper school authorities. 3. A government agency acting within the scope of its functions. Sections 54 to 96, permit applications fees. 1. A person desiring a special event permit shall file an application with the Chief of Police on forms provided by such department. Such application shall be filed not less than 30 days before the date on which it is proposed to conduct the special event. 2. There shall be a $25 fee paid at the time of filing the application for a special event permit. 3. The Chief of Police, where good cause is shown thereof, may be considered an application hereunder which is filed less than 30 days before the date such special event is proposed to be conducted. Any application submitted within 30 days prior to the event is subject to an additional fee of $10. 4. Special events requiring the assistance of the police department will require an additional charge of $25 per officer per hour and is due no later than 5 days before the event. Payment is to be made in the finance department. 5. The application for a special event permit shall set forth the following information. A. The date when the special event is to be conducted. B. The hours when such special event will start and terminate. C. The time at which units of the special events will begin to assemble at any such assembly or area. D. If the special event is proposed to be conducted for, on behalf of, or by any organization, the name, address, and telephone number of the headquarters of the organization and the name of the responsible party of such organization. E. The route to be traveled, including starting and stopping point, as well as a list of all streets along the route. F. The approximate number of people, animals, and vehicles which will constitute such special event. G. The location by streets of any assembly areas for such special event. H. Any additional information which the Chief of Police shall find reasonably necessary to make a fair determination as to whether a special event permit should be issued. Sections 54 to 97, standards for permit issuance. The Chief of Police shall issue a special event permit when, from a consideration of the application and from such other information as may otherwise be obtained, he finds that 1. The conduct of the special event will not substantially interrupt the safe and orderly movement of other traffic contiguous to its route. 2. The conduct of the special event will not require the diversion of so great a number of police officers of this city to properly police the line of movement and the areas contiguous thereto as to prevent normal police protection to the city. 3. The conduct of such special event will not require the diversion of so great a number of ambulances as to prevent normal ambulance service to the portions of the city other than that to be occupied by the proposed line of march and areas contiguous thereto. 4. The concentration of persons, animals, and vehicles at assembly points of the special event will not unduly interfere with proper fire and police protection of or ambulance service to areas contiguous to such assembly areas. 5. The conduct of such special event will not interfere with the movement of firefighting equipment en route to a fire. 6. The conduct of special event is not reasonably likely to cause injury to persons or property, to provoke disorderly conduct, or create a disturbance. 7. The special event is scheduled to move from its point of origin to its point of termination expeditiously and without unreasonable delays or en route. 8. Permit holder shall be responsible for removing all debris and litter caused by any activity pursuant to the issue of this permit. 9. The special event is not to be held for the sole purpose of advertising any product, cause, goods, or events and is not designed to be held purely for private profit. Section 5498, Notice of Special Event to the City Officials. Immediately upon the issuance of a special event permit, the Chief of Police shall send a copy thereof to the Mayor and City Attorney. Notice of Permit Denial. If the Chief of Police disapproves the application for a special event permit, the Chief of Police shall mail to the applicant within 5 days after the date upon which the application was filed a notice of such action. 54 to 100, appeal to City Council. Any person aggrieved by the denial of a special event permit shall have the right to appeal the denial to the City Council. The appeal shall be taken within 2 days after notice that the application has been denied. The City Council shall act upon the appeal within 2 days after its receipt. Section 54-101, alternate date, time, or route. The Chief of Police, in denying an application for such a special event permit, may authorize the conduct of the special event on a date, at a time, or over a route different than that named by the applicant. An applicant desiring to accept an alternate permit shall, within 5 days after notice of such action, file a written notice of acceptance with the Chief of Police. An alternate special event permit shall conform to the requirements of and shall have the effect of a special event permit under this article. Section 54-102, contents of permit. Each special event permit shall state the following information: 1, starting time; 2, event route; 3, streets to be blocked; 4, number of participants expected; 5, such other information as the Chief of Police shall find necessary to the enforcement of this article. Section 54 to 103, carrying permit compliance with laws. The responsible party shall carry the special event permit upon his or her person during the conduct of the special event. 2, the holder of the special event permit hereunder shall comply with all permit directions and conditions and with all applicable laws, provisions of this code, and other city ordinances. Section 54 to 104, revocation of permit. The Chief of Police shall have the authority to revoke a special event permit issued hereunder upon application of the standards for issuance as set forth in this article. Section 54 to 105, reserved. This ordinance shall become effective January 1st, 2014, upon its passage and execution as provided by law. Mr. President, I so move.
We have a motion on the floor to accept this ordinance. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. Rules need to be suspended on this item also. We have a motion. So moved. We have a motion to suspend. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. All in favor of suspending the rules signify by raising your right hand. And the rules have been suspended. Will there be any further discussion on this ordinance? Councilor Bowles.
Thank you for reading that. If it was me, we'd still be here until 8 o'clock. All right, the only thing I'm concerned about is if, just say it does happen, somebody does get denied, and we have 2 days to appeal, how's that going to work out? Because it's, I mean, if it's on a Friday, we're up here on a Saturday night voting on it, or Sunday? On page 10, section right here.
David, do you think we should make it 2 business days?
Or 14 days.
Well, 14 days really gets into the amount of time before the event, because I'm thinking a lot of the people aren't going to supply their permits 30, 45 days out. I mean, some people are going to know a year in advance when they're going to have a marathon, but some of the other smaller events may not be as far in advance. My concern is not nearly so much about denials. This is, the appeals are only for denials, and I believe that we're going to have very few of those. Chief, do you believe that we're going to be addressing a lot of denials? I mean, I think it would have to be a special interest group that was of a really negative type group for him to deny it unless they had some kind of strange. Now, I know that you always have your what ifs, but what are your thoughts, David?
I also spoke with Kelly. As far as her tenure, one has never been denied, so I certainly can foresee a possibility. If you want to make it 2 business days, that's fine. I mean, the days aren't really going to matter from the legality, so it's whatever makes y'all comfortable. Because the due process is there, and that's all I really care about. So if you want to table it and me redraft it, give y'all what Dr. Simmons's concerns were, I can do that.
Councilor Chambers.
With the open meetings law, doesn't that require 7 days notice for us to meet unless it's an emergency?
Yeah, emergency would be the 24 hours, but yes, it is 7 for open meetings.
Are you comfortable with the verbiage? Since there are questions, I would much rather that it be held for 2 weeks. I don't think we have anything coming up. I'm not in a position to make that motion, but So we accepted the rules being suspended, Madam Clerk. Okay. Would someone like to make a motion to hold for 2 weeks to?
I'd like to make a motion that we table this for 2 weeks and have some redrawing up of the verbiage and readdress this at that time.
We have a motion to hold for 2 weeks. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Councilor Bowles. We'll be in a discussion on being held for 2 weeks. All in favor of holding this item signify by raising your right hand. And this item will be held for 2 weeks. Councilors.
The chef to read it again in 2 weeks?
I'm still thinking on it. Thank you. And thank you for all what was done on that. I know it's important because we do have a lot of different items going on. So we'll move on to our next item. Number 11 is a resolution to rename the Leisure Services Department as the Parks and Recreation Department. Councilor Boone.
Whereas the City Council of the City of Prattville recognizes the importance of providing recreational activities for citizens of all ages, and whereas the department responsible for providing these recreational services was historically known as the Parks and Recreation Department, and whereas in Resolution Books 2001B, page 21, the department was renamed the Department of Leisure Services of the City of Prattville, and whereas the City Council desires that the department to once again be designated as Parks and Recreation Department. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that this department shall hereafter be known as the Parks and Recreation Department of the City of Prattville. Be it further resolved that the Leisure Services Committee of the City Council shall hereafter be known as the Parks and Recreation Committee. Mr. President, I so move.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Stearns. We'll be in a discussion on this item. All in favor of adoption signify by raising your right hand. And that item has been adopted. Item number 12 is a resolution to adopt the Elmore County 2014 Solid Waste Management Plan. Councilor Strickland, will you read it, please?
Yes, sir. Whereas the Elmore County Commission is required by Section 222747 Code of Alabama 1975 as amended to submit an updated 10-year solid waste management plan to address changes in solid waste management within the county. And whereas Section 222747 Code of Alabama 1975 as amended requires the Elmore County Solid Waste Management Plan to include every municipal jurisdiction within its boundaries unless the municipality chooses to develop a municipal solid waste management plan. And whereas the City of Prattville supports the updated Elmore County Solid Waste Management Plan for that portion of the city which lies in Elmore County. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Prattville that the city hereby adopts the Elmore County 2014 Solid Waste Management Plan and elects to participate in and be subject to said plan for that portion of the city which lies in Elmore County. So moved, Mr. President.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? Second. Second by Councilor Brown. We'll be in a discussion on this item. All in favor of adoption signify by raising your right hand. And this item is adopted. That exhausts our agenda items for tonight. At this time, if we have anyone who would like to make comments on any other item, will you please come forward at this time? Thank you. Mayor, you have any closing comments?
Yes, sir, if I might.
I have a point of privilege here. First, I'd like to compliment Councilor Bowles for his shirt and tie representing fire department shirts that are being sold for breast cancer awareness month and everything. So you do look good up there. Did have some funnel cake delivered to me from the fair this evening, so if anybody wants any, I'm still be able to say I still haven't had any. But if you will indulge, I actually have a couple of people out here I would like to have come up, or at least one of them, have Ernie Baggett from EMA, I also have Melissa Carpenter, she's from 911. But tonight, I believe the County Commission supported and passed some funding for an app that I think will be very beneficial for the city of Prattville. But if you'll come up and give us a little, and also let me share the phone, okay?
I appreciate that. I probably need to pass on it. Thank you all for allowing me to come up. The app that we're going to be looking at, I'm going to kind of give you a sales pitch here on it a little bit. It's called Ping4. Write that down because I'd like you to go back and look at it. It's ping4.com. The app is a smartphone app. We've been looking for alternatives to reverse 911. We've looked into it. As many of you know, I worked for City of Montgomery EMA before I come over here to Autauga County. And we were there wasting a lot of money on reverse 911. 240,000 citizens in the city of in Montgomery County, with about 200,000 living in the city. We had 89,000 registered phone numbers on the reverse 911 system. That's not very effective. We're not getting out there. We've been researching a way to get the information to people. We will be the first in this state to go online with this Ping4. First thing tomorrow morning, I start working on it. It will be an alerting system that we can alert our citizens. If you download this app on your phone and you travel into an area that's been set up, we can set up parameters. They call them geofences. If you wander into that area or go into that area, it will alert you of whatever is going on. The really good thing about this app is it works with video and pictures. So if we have an Amber Alert, we can send out the latest video or pictures of anybody that has seen this. It is an anonymous return if we elect to do that. We can set it up where they have an email. If you're out and you see this child somewhere, you can send back, I've seen this child at this location, and it's completely anonymous, and it comes right back to the police department or sheriff's department or whomever. It will connect with the National Weather Service for citizens that are, when you're out at ball games and things like that, and the weather siren may not be able to be heard. It will work with our current Polygon system. So if you're not in the warning area, you don't get pinged. If you are, you will be. It will alert you wherever you are, Walmart, whatever. The really good thing about it is there's things that you can set up on there that once they download the app, there's initial greetings that will happen first time. The city of Prattville will be able to do something where they give a greeting to new people. Once they come into the area, they download the app, and you can have a greeting that runs, and it'll only run one time, but it'll do it every time somebody downloads that app for the first time, or they have that app and they come into this area. State of Florida is using it, Massachusetts is using it, Nantucket Island, their mayor, as a matter of fact, has a greeting, a video greeting when people come in, and she greets them as they come onto the island, kind of tells them a little bit about the history and things like that. It will help with things like we can set up things like for parades and things. You can send out those pings and let people know that's happening in that area. So when they travel into it, they'll know these roads are closed. It'll work with the fire department, police department. There's so many avenues that this thing works better than reverse 911, and we're just super excited. We're really excited. We're the first ones. I can't believe we're the first ones to find out about this thing, but we're excited about it. We'll be using some of the monies that have been given to us by the city. That's what we're going to pay for this app with, and it is going to provide this system for everybody in the county.
Thank you, Mr. Baggett. From the emergency management. Young lady, you standing there. Would you like to have a word with us?
No, I wasn't anticipating that, but it's an honor to be here for you.
You wasn't anticipating?
I wasn't. You kind of put me on the spot and called my name, so I came up here with her.
About some fun, okay.
I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm just trying to be polite and make sure.
Thank you.
No, you may sit down.
How about me?
You may not.
Oh, okay.
Thank you all. We appreciate that, and I'm sure the city will take advantage. And Mayor, do you have anything else further?
That is all, but thank you for everything that this council has provided and done for this city.
Thank you. With that said, Councilor Strickland, do you have any further?
No, sir.
Councilor Brown?
No, sir.
Councilor Starnes?
No, sir.
Councilor Chambliss?
No, sir.
Councilor Bowles?
Yes, sir. As you can see, I'm wearing a beautiful black shirt with the pink thing on it for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. $12 at the fire department. It's not a lot of money. You wear it around town. Everybody sees you. Looks really good from the back. I'm going to wear mine to work tomorrow. So I just encourage everybody to support this. It's a good cause. Go across the street, buy you a shirt, $12. Thank you.
Councilor Bone. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us tonight. With that being said, again, as always, I want to thank the citizens of Prattville, the employees of Prattville, everyone for what you do. And I pray that God's speed will be with you. Everyone drive safely on your way home. Our next council meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, October 15, 2013, 6 p.m. Lord's willing, we look forward to seeing you then. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. The meeting is adjourned.